Good evening. I read the article on Monday from the Las Vegas Sun about the struggling Las Vegas taxicab industry, and again how more and more companies are having to compensate for their drivers' lack of bookings and paying them having to pay minimum wage for these drivers. And I gotta tell you that, of course, for those who aren't insiders in that industry, or haven't been in that industry at one point in time or another, have to understand that the companies who are complaining about having to pay this minimum wage for their drivers to make up the difference have nobody to blame but themselves for the problems. Those of us who were in the industry back several years ago when things were a little bit better remember that how the cab companies, even after 9/11 and after it was apparent that the Las Vegas tourism industry, was suffering, yet still the cab companies insisted on lobbying the Taxi Cab Authority Board for more and more medallions. You have to understand that the number of medallions, that's the permits for the vehicles to be out on the streets, since 1998 has more than doubled. And of course they say they're not laying off cab drivers, but the fact of the matter is, if they did lay off a few drivers, let them go out and claim unemployment and get a few of those cabs off the street, the rest of the guys that were out there might actually make a dollar. But that's the biggest problem is that since day one, these companies have insisted that each and every car that's on their lot that's eligible to go out does indeed go out. And it just doesn't seem to matter that the guys that are going out and working for 12 hours a day, and this is a mandatory shift in most instances. Yeah, you get an hour break, but it's not like driving cab in 90% of the rest of the country, where I can get out of the car if I got a doctor's appointment, no problem. I can take the time that I need. And the other problem is that industry is never diversified into other areas. Right now, one of the things that is keeping the cab industry in the Twin Cities going are the fact that we're doing quite a few school runs, taking kids back and forth to school, especially specialized schools and things like that for kids with truancy issues and other behavioral instances, or kids, quite frankly, from broken homes. And we also handle quite a bit of subsidized medical runs. So cab drivers are kept fairly busy, even though the number of cash fares, and we've taken a hit out here too. People that that are going to the airport and going, the tourists and whatnot that come to this area, and quite frankly, the locals are also hanging on to their money. So it has been tough out here, but the Las Vegas cab industry has refused to diversify itself in other ways to make money. And subsequently, you've got drivers that are out there that know nothing more than to just sit on the next available stand and wait for the next ride to come out. And I think that the industry has nobody to blame but themselves. And I still say that it's only going to take so long for these companies to have to subsidize their drivers that they're going to petition hard to the state of Nevada to end the long running employer-employee relationship that this industry has. As best I can tell, this is the only, or Las Vegas is the only city or area in the country where cab drivers are still employees. And quite frankly, it's the time has come to abolish that. It's too hard. It's too hard for companies to keep accurate record of driver activities. All the stuff with the unions. That town it just needs to get with the 20th century. Forget 21st century. Get with the 20th century, and just abolish this, because it's not working, and you're going to wind up having to compensate for lack of driver production more and more, because the climate has changed. People are not as frivolous. Vegas was, yeah, you're right. It had a heyday there. It had, people had, tons of disposable income, and it's even to the point now where people, like look at the ball players. You look at these major league ball players that don't, last I checked, there's 40 or 50 free agent ball players out there, top-notch free agent ball players, including guys like Manny there, who refused to sign a big deal there with the Dodgers, and thinks he's going to hold out for more money. Well, he might be in for a sad reality and find out nobody's going to pay that salary. So things are tough in Vegas, but the only thing that's going to change the Las Vegas cab industry is, like I said, get this whole employer-employee mentality off the books. Let these drivers, lease these cars to these drivers. Let them be their own bosses. Let them do their own things. And I think in the long run, everybody will be happier. That's just one man's opinion. Meanwhile, I'm just going to be just happy as hell that I'm still, or that I'm where I'm at, even though it's cold as hell up here. But at least I don't have to deal with that crap down in Las Vegas. That's all I have for right now, folks. You guys out there in Vegas, you guys are still in my thoughts and my prayers. I wish you all the best. That's all I can say. Till the next time, this is John Shannon, the Redneck Cabbie. Adios.